Okay. Hari Om Aarti. We'll start. Hari Om, all of you. Yeah. I'll share this.
And the student, he's humbled. He has total faith in the teacher.
Okay. We are not able to hear you. Aarti,
are you able to hear me now?
Yeah, yes. Okay, let us start. Hari Om. Good evening, all of you. Let us close our eyes. Sit comfortably wherever we are. Be aware of our body. Sitting relaxed, comfortable. If you find any tension in any part of your body, consciously relax. Just move your attention to that part of your body and relax. Put a beautiful smile on your face. Your body is relaxed. Watch your breath. Stand back and watch the beautiful way your body is taking the air in through the nostril and the air coming out of the nostril. Stand back and watch. As you're watching your breath, the thoughts are lesser in your mind. Acknowledge that.
Om. Sahana bhavatu, sahanau bhunaktu, sahaviryam karavavahai, tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vedvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Janmadhyasya yatonmayaditaratah chatheshvabhijñam swarat tene brahma hridaya adikavaye muhyanti yat surayah tejo vari mridam yatha vinimayo yatra trisargo mrisha dhamna svena sada nirastakuhakam satyam param dhimahi Satchidananda Rupaya विश्वोत्पत्त्यादिहेतवे तापत्रयविनाशाय श्रीकृष्णाय वयं नमः। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। Sushila ji, you have raised your hand. You have something to ask? Sushila Sridhara? Okay, you can start.
Okay. You're able to see the screen?
Yeah, the Narayanam Namaskrityam is there.
I changed it to. Are you able to see it now? The PDF?
I am not able to. Is
No,
anybody
no,
else?
no. I have to again share. Huh?
How do? Yeah.
Okay, just give the context. I'll share it again.
Yeah. So last class we were looking at how we were looking at the entry of Shukhamuni and how there were so many great rishis there. Now, when Parikshit is now doing has taken his vow to do the Paryopavesha and fasting unto his life's end, because now he has just 7 days more to live. He has understood that he has been cursed. He has come to know, and now he wants to find out what is the right way, what is the right thing for him to do these last 7 days. Now that he is expecting, and before the earlier class, we looked at the greatness of Parikshit. Even at the time of death, instead of lamenting, instead of wasting all that time, the 7 days he got back on his toes immediately, and he said, I am going to see what I have to do now that I'm faced with the reality. Okay, he didn't even take a moment. He welcomed it, in fact. And then when he is waiting there are so many great munis, in fact, working sadhus, and everybody, Chavana and Atri and Vedavyasa, everybody is there, okay, waiting for assembled over there. And at that time, Shukhamuni enters, and Shukhamuni is, everybody even stands up for Shukhamuni. He is just absolutely, walks in like a beam of light in there. His divinity is just showing. And we spoke about how, why he was enlightened. And even Vedavyasa and all the other great munis are supposed to have stood up. And he was given the asana by Parikshit. And we saw that picture in the last class, as Parikshit Maharaj is like the Shishya, and he asked Shukhamuni, and Parikshit says, this has turned into a blessing. I thought I was a sinner, but this has turned into a blessing for me. Now, can you please tell me what is needed for me to do in these 7 days? And so that is where we left it, just to bring out that whole thing of how keen Parikshit was to really ask Shukhamuni. He says, there is one shloka where it says, Parikshit says, you don't stay in one place more than the time it takes to milk a cow. So please, can you tell me what it is that I need to do? I need to hear. What is it that I need to hear? What is it that I need to do for these 7 days to be at the feet of the Lord? And then Shukhamuni, he says, he goes and he sits on his asana and he says, I'm not going anywhere. I am here for you for the next, 7 days to tell you about the Bhagavatam. With that kind of just one. So here, what is coming out so beautifully is the keenness with which Parikshit asks. And when he is so keen to ask that knowledge, he's just, so curious, so inquisitive. Just tell me, you have a very short time. I want to listen. Then Sukhamuni, the giver, is also so charged up to give, even if it is just that one student is enough. But that charge that comes up.
Yeah, right. So yes, correct. So it is very, it's a beautiful event when we see this Guru and the Sishya coming together. Okay, so Shukamuni, it looks like he has come with this purpose only, right? That is what we've seen. The purpose itself is for Shukamuni to give Bhagavatam to Parikshit just at the right time. And it does not happen only to Shukamuni and Parikshit. Okay, the entire thing is not to say that, okay, it happened somewhere. Okay, they were great people, so it happened. That's not the idea. Our scriptures, they are actually like mirrors for us. What is there, it is like, what kind of thing do we see from that, and what am I learning? So they are showing us the way. So a very beautiful, at this point in time, it is actually very apt to recollect that Bhagavad Gita shloka where Krishna says, what is the quality of a Sishya? And what is the quality? In many, many, many shlokas he has given. But one thing which really stands out is, what is the quality of the Guru? In what situation the knowledge passes on. So it is not like someone is giving. So it is like a dhara. Okay, like the Guru Parampara also we say, right? It flows. It is not like someone wants to give, go there and gives, and someone takes. All those things cannot happen. When there is readiness, knowledge flows. So it says that vidhi pranipatena. Okay, so 3 qualities, very, very important for the Sishya. In this context, we all are now learners. Okay, we are going to get into the Bhagavatam. So these are the qualities that we need to, imbibe in us. So pranipat, we all know, right? That humility, we have seen it many times. Complete surrender. Okay, know that I do not know. So the Parikshit, being such a great king also, he doesn't have an iota of egoistic, thought in him that he knows, right? So pranipatena, pariprashnena. So like what Aarti was saying, that eagerness to learn. Okay, that curiosity, that eagerness, sincere. Whatever question I ask is not to test the knowledge of the Guru, but the question I ask is for me to know really. Through Bhagavad Gita, we see so many questions asked by Arjuna. It is a sambhashanam between Arjuna and Samvada, we say, right? So, and Krishna. So many questions Arjuna asks. So our Upanishads is also like that. Every Upanishad starts with a question from the Sishya. So questioning is never, given a no in our culture. It starts with questioning, but provided the question is really, really to gain that knowledge. Okay, pariprashnena. Third one, very important, sevaya. These 3, seva bhava, very important, because we see in our, Guru Sishya Parampara, even in, I think, Ramakrishna order, Chinmaya, even our Gurudev, Chinmayananda, the way they actually, where they met their Guru, immediately the knowledge transfer doesn't happen. Yes, the Sishya comes with a lot of questions. The Sishya comes with so much of that pariprashna, we say, that seeking. But first, the Guru tests the Sishya, ensures if the Sishya is the, they say, the right patra, because it has to be a vessel. When we say patra, it means only when the vessel is empty, it can take. When it is already full, it cannot take anymore. So this Guru will ensure that the Sishya is the right patra for the knowledge to flow. Okay, so there also Guru never thinks he is giving the knowledge. So the 3 things for Sishya, tadviti pranipatena, pariprashnena, sevaya. 3. we saw, right? When the Shishya is like that, okay, at the right time, Guru comes in some form. That is the law of this universe. And when Guru comes, what kind of Guru? When does the knowledge flow? Is Upadekshanti te jnanam. Jnanam itself will flow. That is what Krishna is saying. Upadekshanti te jnanam. From where? Jnaninas tattva darshinaha. The one who has seen the truth. The one who has that self-realization. Only from that Guru it flows. So this is something, that very clearly Krishna says in terms of, see, this is applicable in all sorts of knowledge that we seek actually. It need not be only spiritual. Say, for example, I'm going somewhere to learn some, yoga. Okay, for that, first of all, I need to unlearn all my assumptions and conclusions about yoga, right? That patra has to be empty. And I have to be humble enough. I should have that pranipat to the Guru from who is now going to teach me. Yes. And seva bhava is something very important. Even today in schools, we say, no, go collect. Nowadays, it is actually, we see it diluted a lot. But if we see in the traditional Gurukulam, the Gurukulam children, they beautifully do the complete seva for the Guru and the Guru's family, and through that the cleansing happens. As the cleansing happens, as the ego is very low, then knowledge flows. So, and the teacher, say who is teaching yoga, for example, has to be experienced in that. Just by a scholar in yoga cannot teach. Just because I have a bookish knowledge, just because I have seen few videos, just because my head is filled with the knowledge will not pass on. So the one who's experienced in that only can take, right? This is applicable for our secular education. For self-knowledge also, it says that tattva darshan, the one who has seen the truth, the one who has realized the truth, he alone can actually pass on, is capable of passing on this knowledge to the Shishya. So now why we are seeing all these things is we are now at the, we are blessed to have Bhagavatam as Shukha. Yes. And we all are now as Parikshit. Okay. Sitting there with complete, let us all empty our minds, with complete devotion to Bhagavan. Bhagavatam is nothing but Krishna himself, isn't it? Complete devotion to him. And with that, when we enter the second canto, there is so much, how Shukamuni takes this Bhagavatam. Again, I think somewhere it is written, right? Very beautifully. It is said that Bhagavatam, I know many of you must have heard that, is like that ripe fruit of Vedas. Okay, that Veda is there. It says Nigama. It is like that Vedic knowledge, which is very difficult for a limited mind, like us to comprehend. That Vedic knowledge is being, that essence of that is being taken, and it is so ripe. Okay. And Shukamuni is beautifully making it into like a mango milkshake. Okay. He's not even giving that ripe fruit, because there has to be some effort for us to even, bite it. So he is nicely making it into a semi-solid. I saw that it was very beautiful, that shloka. I don't know where it is now. Okay. So, and then he calls out saying, Pibhata Bhagavatam, Pibhata Bhagavatam. Drink this nectar, drink this nectar. Okay. It is Rasamalayam. It is the essence, that rasa, bhakti rasa. What rasa it is? It is bhakti rasa. There are many rasas, we all must know, at the physical level. But when all these rasas are, we have seen that, right, completely turned towards the divine, bhakti rasa starts flowing. Okay, which is much, much beyond our this body, mind, intellect. So that bhakti rasa will start flowing when we are able to drink that essence given by Shukamuni. So from this second canto, Shukamuni is going to start feeding us with nice essence of this mango milkshake for us, so that we can keep eating and enjoy the bhakti rasa.
I would like to read a few lines about the greatness of the scripture, this Bhakti Rasa through the Bhagavatam, from Tejomi Anandaji's lines about it. So he says, now this is not the first time this Bhagavatam is being told by Shukamuni to Parikshit. There have been many speakers who have expounded the Bhagavata Katha, but none like Shukadeva Maharaja. And there have been many listeners to this Katha, but none like King Raja Parikshit. This speaker and listener, this teacher and taught are unique because they are the only ones who have recited and heard these stories for no other reason than their love for God alone. They have learned this only, they are listening only because of their love of God. Right now, Parikshit is facing death and he is saying, I love God, I want to be with God at the end of my life. What should I do? Just his love of God he is doing. And Shukadeva is also there only for the love of that God, and he is there as a giver. After hearing this katha from Lord Narayana, Brahmaji had immediately begun his work of creation. So the sequence of where did the Bhagavatam originate? So that whole sequence has been beautifully given. So after hearing this katha from Lord Narayana, Brahmaji had immediately begun his work of creation. So he listened to it and did his work of creation. After hearing this katha from Brahmaji, Naradaji had immediately begun propagating it in all corners of the universe in order to serve humanity. So his first purpose was creation from Narayana to Brahma. The second purpose is serving humanity from Brahmaji to Naradaji. And after hearing this katha from Naradaji, Vyasaji had immediately begun putting the text in writing for again the welfare of humanity. Okay, there was a purpose with that organ. And here Shukadevaji and Parikshitaji are the kind of speaker and listener who have no other purpose than just to speak and listen to the Lord's glories. For them, it is all about love and love of God alone. So I thought, why is this Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavatam? So it has been repeated so many times by so many people. Why is this Bhagavatam so strongly associated with Parikshit Maharaj and Shukamuni? It is because it is only for the pure love of God that this was told and this was heard. We hear our, even when we chant the Sahana Vavatu, Sahana Bhunaktu, right at the beginning. So this whole, so far, this has been the Adhikari Skanda. What is that? Who is an Adhikari? What Bala was telling, no, the right Guru will appear at the right time if you are the right Adhikari. And she did talk about 3 qualities. Even Sahana Vavatu, Sahana Bhunaktu. In Aparajita Anandaji's words, in fact, it says, when you say Sahana Vavatu, may both be protected. May both the teacher and the student be protected. Protected by what? By the Tapatrayas. Adi Bhautika, Adhyatmika, Adi Devika. May there not be, when Adhyatmika is, may there not be any lack of concentration. One of the biggest Adhyatmika Tapatraya is our lack of faith in the Guru. Okay, may not that be there, may that not be there, lack of concentration not be there, or may there not be any kind of physical disease within me which blocks me from receiving this knowledge from the other. Adi Bhautika is around me. If there is too much noise around me, if I don't have the right kind of environment to be able to absorb it, there's somebody playing rock music somewhere nearby, too much noise, or there is a drilling sound somewhere, or too many mosquitoes are biting me, and then my concentration is diverted because of the things around me. May that not, and we are not saying that it should not be any mosquitoes. We're saying may that not disturb my concentration. Okay. And Adi Devika, we don't know what kind of, I have decided to come for a class, but something happens. It could be some kind of cosmic force, natural calamity, anything. May that none of these be there. May we be protected from all of these for what? For the love of listening to the glories of the Lord. Sahanau in the context of the Bhagavatam or any kind of learning, right? Sahanau bhunaktu. May we enjoy this process of the learning. May the Guru and the Shishya enjoy this process of learning. If I'm just sitting there, children don't want to go to school. One day they say, hey, no school, yay, holiday, So that means it's not a really conducive environment for learning where the student really wants to enjoy themselves. So it is, the student should want to learn, be curious, be eager, and completely connected with the Guru. And the Guru should also want to give that kind of knowledge, which is what was shown by both Parikshit and Parikshit Maharaj and Sukadeva. He says, I think they tell me only you stay for as long as it takes to milk a cow. So please give it to me quickly. That eagerness. And Shukadeva is like immediately sitting down and say, I am going to be here throughout and I'm going to give it to you. So that eagerness of the Guru and the eagerness of the student was also shown here. And Sahaviryam Karavavahe, the best effort has to be put now. When the effort is given, it's no half-hearted. If the student becomes better than me, the teacher feels like his job is very well done. There's no this thing, what if I give everything, then this student becomes better than me. None of these kinds of thoughts will arise. Okay. And Sahaviryam Karavavahe, Tejasvi Navadi Tamastu. May this be enlightening, right? May, what is enlightening? We are listening to whatever is there. Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana. There are 3 stages. First, I listen to the stories. Then I keep doing mananam on it. When I keep thinking about it again and again, I get so many perspectives and it goes in and it sits deeply. And Nididhyasana is that stage when now I realize the truth behind it. That truth has become my truth and I am enlightened by that truth, by that knowledge. Now, somebody tells me you have to be truthful. That is first Shravana. And then I keep remembering and doing it all the time. I keep remembering, oh, I should speak the truth. And now whenever I'm talking, I take an effort. That manana is through effort. And then eventually, when automatically I start speaking the truth and it has become a part of me, I've gone through Nididhyasana, where I have been enlightened by the truth, where it has become my self-knowledge now. So may these studies lead to our self-knowledge. May this not just be an outside knowledge that I'm hearing, but may I apply it on myself and may it become my self-knowledge. And then Ma vidvishavahe, may there be no conflict within or outside to receive this knowledge. May it be applied in the best possible way without any conflict. So I just thought, this we chant every day, and we are in the Adhikari Skanda. So how we listen to the Bhagavatam, like Parikshit and Sukadeva, we will, just for the love of God, completely immerse, because now starts the Bhagavatam, actually.
Yes, so we can start with, again, Guruji's words. I'll again read. The first canto of Bhagavata is known as Adhikari Skanda, wherein the qualifications of the speaker as well as the listener are both given. So here speaker is the Guru, okay, and listeners are Parikshit. So for us, speaker is Bhagavatam itself and listeners, all of us. The speaker and listener should both be qualified to respectively relay and receive this katha. This is what we saw, right? That the receiving patra, it is very important. Pranipat, yes, a complete surrender to the Guru, complete surrender to Bhagavatam, complete faith, and seva, ready to serve Bhagavan, yes, and Pariprashnena, the curiosity, eagerness to learn. The speaker and the listener, yes. This is why it is said that the person who does not have love for God, dispassion from sense objects, or love for the stories of the Lord. So these three, if it is not there, if I don't really enjoy, I'm sure all of us love it. That's why we are here every week. Yes, we have so much of love for Bhagavan. So we are there every week here. So we are qualified to start this, to get the rasa of Bhagavatam, rasa of the Vedas, which is Bhagavatam. Dispassion, vairagya, and love for the Katha. The only purpose of telling or hearing such a Katha is to develop bhakti in one's heart. So with this, we start the second canto. Do you like to read, Aarti? From Shuka blessed him.
Yeah.
Yes, he starts. The Sukha's words mark the opening of second canto.
So Shuka blessed him. He was seated, and after him, all the many rishis. Shuka said, I have come to you for the sole purpose of telling you about the glory of Narayana, which is the only recital worth hearing. If you remember earlier, Parikshit was asking, what is it that I should do in the next 7 days? Should I do yoga? Should I do tapas? Should I do dana? But there's not enough. The dana I have anyway given away. The tapas, there's not enough time to do tapas. There's not enough time to do yoga. So what should I do was his question. And this is a clear answer from Shukha to him. He says, your sole purpose is to listen to the recital of Bhagavatam, Purana. I will tell you the story of the Lord and make these 7 days the most glorious days of your life. This story will help you, and not only you, but all men who will be born hereafter. Consider the life of ordinary men on earth. They are caught in the web of bondage, attachment to their homes, their children, their belongings. They are ignorant of the signs of self-realization. There are so many things to be learnt by man during his short stay in the world. Yet, what does he do? Half his life is lost in sleep. As for the other half, childhood and youth steal away most of it. Man becomes involved in worldly pressures and the pain resulting from it, from attachment. Man never pauses to think of the truth that death is awaiting him. Every day he sees death around him, and yet he will never consider himself to be a mortal. He will never reckon the quick message of time which carries him nearer and nearer death every moment. And so for one who desires mukti from the world of bondage, there is one easy path available, and that is thinking of the Lord at the end of one's life. Even rishis who have realized the Brahman delight in singing the praises of the Lord. There is no need to regret the number of years wasted in thinking of things other than him. Even a muhurta is enough to tide you over if you're sincere enough. There was a king, Khatwanga by name. He came to know that he had just one muhurta more to live. This was when he was in the heavens with the Devas. Khatwanga at once renounced the heavens and rushed to the earth. He sat in meditation for that one muhurta and reached the feet of the Lord. You, my dear Parikshit, have 7 whole days to spend in this very pleasant task. Thinking of the Lord, I will help you to concentrate on him.
When they say Muhurta, I was remembering even we saw Dhritarashtra, isn't it? Such a life he led in spite of it. Finally, after Vidura's advice, he really realizes everything. And with that sincerity, so they say in that Yoga Agni, he was able to leave his body. So we don't have to think how we have spent our past lives till now. Even now, we can, when once that sincerity is there, mind turns to Bhagavan, I think it is possible. That is a great encouragement. Look at the way our gurus start this thing. No, the moment we hear about the qualifications of the listener, all those thoughts come in our mind, right? Oh, I am not, what? Vairagya, I still have love for so many sense objects, isn't it? We do. So, but then they say, forget about whatever, how you have lived. Now is the time to start. This is something very powerful, encouraging, I think. No? Anything else, Aarti?
No, that was
move
beautiful.
on.
Yeah, we can move on. Anybody else has anything to say?
Yeah.
Please feel free if you want to share something. You can just
All
unmute
of a sudden.
yourself and talk.
Can unmute, right?
Okay.
So all is very eager to listen. Like Parikshit. Okay. Dharana. So when
Better late
death
than
draw.
Kalpana ji has written, better late than never.
Correct. Better now than never, I think. Now is the time. When death draws near, man, when death draws near, I was thinking, Aarti, before we move to that, that was very beautiful. Once, I'm not remembering, you had told that Kabir Das story.
Of that
The
concentration.
feather. The feather.
That
Because when we face death, that is when we all get that vairagya.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
again,
yeah,
we
yeah.
come back to our.
Yeah, I can tell that story. It's I vaguely remember it. I'll tell that again. So once there was a man who really wanted to come and visit Kabir Das. Okay, he was very keen to visit Kabir Das, but he has never seen Kabir Das before. So he comes into his village in Banaras, his place in Banaras, and he comes and says, I have come to visit, see Kabir Das. Then they say, no, he has gone to the Smashana. Somebody has passed away. So you can go and meet him there. And so then he says, but I don't know, there'll be so many people there. How will I recognize Kabir Das there? He says, he is the one who will have a feather on his head. Okay. But he is the one who will have a feather on his, I think I'm missing the beginning part somewhere, but yeah, we'll still. He's the one who is having the missing a feather on his head. And then, okay, he goes to that ghat where that smashanam is. And there he sees everybody is waiting, the cremation and everything is happening. And so many people are standing there. And all of them are having that peacock feather on their head. Everybody is having that peacock feather on their head. And he's like, what this person says, Kabir Das will have the feather on his head, but almost everybody is having it. And he's very confused and he's just waiting. He doesn't know what to do. And he's just standing there. Then from there, one by one, after everything is over, they start walking away. One person takes just 4 or 5 steps and that feather vanishes. And one person just walks another, 1 meter and that feather vanishes. Another person walks 10 meters and then that feather vanishes. Another person like this, for each one of them, that feather vanishes. And finally, there was only one person he keeps following with the feather. There's only one person who has the feather on his head. And then he identifies that was Kabir Das. And when he goes and approaches Kabir Das, he says, how come there were so many people with the feather on their head? And then afterwards, everything just vanished and only you have the feather on your head. He says that feather is nothing but the feather of Vairagya. When we approach death, right, everybody feels, oh, this death is certain, is the only certainty. What kind of life am I living? And I must really make myself better and, move towards a better living and all those kind of things. Vairagya sets in, understanding of the uncertainty. Life is there. Everybody, as long as they're in the Smashana Gata. And then, but the moment they turn around and are walking away from there, that feather of Vairagya is moving away. The person who holds that Vairagya every moment, not just when faced with the reality of mortality of anybody, but is there understanding and knowing that is my only reality for this life at this point in time. And if I want to move beyond that, this moment and every moment that I live, from this moment onwards, I think about Bhagavan, because at that end moment that was written, at the end, If he thinks about the Lord, it's enough, but it's not easy. I have to practice it every moment from now, so that at the end I can remember. If I just say, Are Baba, okay, I'll live everything, I will live the way I want, at the end I will remember him, it will not come to our mind at all. We have to remember now in every sukha, dukkha, whatever happens, if I remember the Lord right now, at the end, there is a chance we will remember. Right?
Yeah, there is a chance. Okay. So very beautiful, right? So that Vairagya is something that touched today. I was just linking it. So basically, what does this mean? Vairagya, yes, to be in touch with that reality of life, that life is, very uncertain. And so make the best out of it right now. Yes, that is one thing. And when we are in touch with that reality, we actually see that we are living to the fullest. Meaning the love just flows. Okay, just to for us to think through. Even if we know someone who is very who is ill, who is kind of we know that they are really ill. They are really in the last stages of their life. Okay, what happens? Whatever things that they have done which is not pleasant, we forget, isn't it? That compassion just flows. So I remember some forward also had come in our group. I'm not remembering. So something like that, when we understand that someone is nearing death, automatically we are more compassionate to them. So from where do we get that reality in life? We are holding on to that reality in life. Okay, nothing is permanent. So this also really touched me. So how do we live every moment? He says, always pray that you should be blessed to have the eyes that see the best in people. Okay, when I see the best in people, the heart that forgives the worst act or behavior. Yes. Why do we hold on to? We think that is permanent, right? When we know all of us are going to go, these things just wither in its value, then we are very easily able to forget and forgive, isn't it? So a heart that forgives the worst, a mind that forgets the bad incidences, and a soul that never loses the direction to rest in self. So this is Vairagya. When the soul is resting in self all the time, automatically we see that the love, compassion, and all is flowing. So this is something I think we need to always remember as our basic reality in life. So that will help us live our life to the fullest, meaning being with the divine and having that love, compassion as we live every moment. Okay, so we move on. Anything else? Dharana. When death draws near, man should cast off his fear of death. Man should cast off. Is it possible? We need to see. With the sword of renunciation, he should sever all ties which bind him to his wife, children, and other worldly objects. He should leave his house, and having bathed in the holy waters, he should sit down for meditation. I will describe the technique for meditation. So Sukamuni is starting off directly with, so here I would like to actually add on to a few things which Guruji has beautifully, he's basically that the first shloka, what he says, no? So he says, as we live, we are continuing to acquire knowledge, practice yoga, perform duties, okay, all these things. So here directly it is told, we should cast off the fear of death. This is a result of lifelong practice. It is not easy for us to suddenly sever the ties, isn't it? So Parikshit was able to do it because he has lived a life of, tapasya. So he says, the greatest gain in life is to have the constant remembrance of God. Okay, all the time. It is not just when we have that habituated our mind to remember Bhagwan over years as we live, then at the time of death also the mind falls into that habit. Otherwise it gets very difficult. Okay, so for that now Shukamuni is giving what all we need to do. Steady the mind with the help of pranayama. Repeat the mystic word Om. When the mind is controlled by you, it should then be steadfast. The intellect should be the charioteer which should hold the reins and steer the mind towards the contemplation of the Lord. The mind should not be allowed to stray towards the object of senses. Yes, this Ratha, Ati, would you like to? This is our favorite. You have to unmute yourself.
Actually, I should show the picture of that. You can keep going on.
I'll stop sharing.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'll stop sharing. You share. So this is a beautiful analogy. Yeah, that Ratha analogy. We see that in Bhagavad Gita, it is in Kathopanishad. Yes, very nicely. It is something that we all need to keep in mind as we live our life. So what are those horses? What is that rein? Who is holding it? Who is that? Who is the charioteer? Who is driving the chariot? And who is the Ratha itself? And who is the passenger? Okay, very beautifully our scriptures have given that. So let us see what it is.
Yeah, I'll just bring it up. Just give me a minute. This is also given in the, it's mentioned in the Kathopanishad, actually. It's a beautiful analogy, and I will share it right now. Are you able to see it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So if you see this, we see this, right? Krishna is the charioteer, Arjuna sitting in the chariot with the 5 horses. So the Kathopanishad talks so beautifully about the 5 horses. It can be 5, sometimes it talks about 10 also. But the 5 horses are 5 in Jnanendriyas. Okay, the nose, the tongue, the eyes, the ears, the skin, and sometimes the karmendriyas are also included. So basically, these horses are our input organs. It's like, all our sense organs in a way. And Krishna, the reins are the mind. The charioteer is the intellect. And the one going in the chariot is the self or the ego. It can be either one depending. And the chariot itself is our body. The chariot is our body. And in fact, actually, the road is like our life, you can say. 5 horses are our 5 senses. Reins is the mind. Charioteer is the intellect. Passenger is either the self or the ego. Okay. And road is, the sense objects or the life. So now in all of this, so this says the road is the sense objects. On the road, when the horses are going, if it is caught by all the sense objects, what are the sense objects? Everything that I see, the temptation, the krodha, I am reacting, the mada, matsarya, all of those, the jealousy and everything that I'm feeling. If these 5 senses, if these horses are going to go on this road, and each of these horses are going in different directions, and this rein is not being pulled carefully by the charioteer, right? If the rein is not strong, the mind is not being held carefully by the buddhi, which is the charioteer, then this Atman or this ego, it becomes, the whole chariot itself becomes so rocky. The chariot, which is the body, becomes so rocky on this road because the horses are going in all the directions. And when it goes in such a rocky way, the body suffers and the Atman, the self, the ego cannot reach its destination because there could be, it's going in all the directions, the senses, and it cannot go smoothly in the direction that it should be. So what is needed is for these 5 horses, if the 5 horses or the sense organs are held with firmness by the buddhi, the mind is being reined in clearly by the buddhi, and the sense organs are in place, then this whole body, the chariot, goes through this life in a beautiful way, in the most smooth way, and you reach your destination, the Atman. Then it becomes the self. So as long as you're caught with your sense objects, it is the ego. But when the horses, the reins, and the intellect are working with the highest efficiency, right, where the buddhi is in control of the mind, and hence the mind is able to keep the sense organs, the indriya nigraha is happening, then the self is attained smoothly. The whole process, the body is able, this life, this body that has been given to us, reaches its purpose of life smoothly. So this is a, this is the explanation, Bala. Over to you.
Yeah, so beautiful, no? So this Ratham is our body. Yes. So actually, see, it is very beautiful if we really see the self, okay, the Atman is, for Atman, the Ratham is only an equipment. Okay, we need to remember that. For me, this body, mind, intellect is an equipment. In words of Chimyananda Gurudev, I'm saying, he says this body, mind, intellect is an equipment. But what do? We think we are this. That is the problem, right? We identify with this, but this is not me. Okay, there is this self which is there, which has taken this body for some purpose. Okay, it is riding this life for some purpose, which I am still not aware. But when, see, for example, if we, that is a beautiful, say an equipment like a screwdriver you take. Yes, I take a screwdriver, and if I start using the screwdriver, if I'm trying to break a coconut, okay, and then I say, oh, this coconut is very hard, the screwdriver is not doing its job properly. Yes, is that an intelligent way of doing that work? No. Similarly, I need to know these horses, yes, this entire ratha, how it works. This equipment that has been given to me, yes, it works within the laws of nature. Be it body, be it mind, intellect, everything, it works within the laws of nature. So the scriptural knowledge gives us the techniques to understand how the equipment that is being given to me works. So if we understand that very well, the intellect is empowered. Basically, understanding is the function of the intellect. So the intellect gets empowered and it knows where to steer the chariot so that the purpose of the journey is fulfilled. So very beautifully it is given. Chariot, we can even take it as car for this new thing, modern world. But basically this is a vehicle. So that when we remember, I think that Vairagya sets in very.
And how does this buddhi become strengthened? So intellect is, there is a very, it's very different word, the way it is used in the regular world. It is connected with intelligence and with the skill, that is, but the intellect or the buddhi that we are really talking here about is a kind of wisdom in a way. And how is this wisdom really, how do we gain this wisdom? That is why we are here. We listen to our scriptures, we give it the right inputs. So what is this doing? Even the very fact that I must come to a class like this or go around and seek that knowledge is somewhere from the intellect. It has a certain knowledge that, or it knows that this is the wise thing to do for me. So that buddhi is leading me to now get the right inputs through these sense organs, where all the sense organs are headed in a direction which is steered by the intellect, which is steered by the buddhi. So when that happens, then the right knowledge and right inputs are given to my buddhi, and that buddhi becomes stronger, and there is better clarity on what is the right way to head. How, it's like training a charioteer to handle the reins of the horses. We are training our buddhi to be able to do this indriya nigraha through all this knowledge which we are listening. We should do manana on, and there should be a nididhyasana. So we realize that, And then with that, see, initially when I'm practicing something, when I practice A, B, C, there are so many mistakes, but now I can just write it so quickly. That is Nididhyasana. Now I don't have to think about how I should form an A, right? So when it gets to that stage, and then the whole thing, and for that, what is needed? All that is needed is practice, practice, practice. And when we listen to all of this, our life is automatically steered. It seems automatically like it is steered to move in the right direction.
Yeah. So see this analogy very beautifully in Bhagavad Gita. Look at the same thing you take. Who is the traveler? Arjuna. Isn't it? The one who has surrendered to, who else can be the great driver for us? Isn't it? So Bhagavatam, again coming back to Bhakti. The great driver for us can be my Antaryaman. That inner self who is there always guiding me. Yes, that Bhagavan himself. So he himself manifests as Buddhi. So the Sharathi was Krishna himself for Arjuna, right? And so if we surrender to Bhagavan and leave that, don't think that I am riding my, life. Surrender to Bhagavan. Let Krishna ride my life and see how beautifully we can enjoy the life. So that is a beautiful analogy that Bhagavad Gita has put the same picture there. And Arjuna was, in that Yuddha, right? Yuddha Kshetra. In spite of it, that surrender, when Krishna drives it, it became such a, what do you say? It was a complete dharmic way for Arjuna. So that's also one thing. Just to read, just to get that feel of the reference from.
Initially, we practice, we listen to this and we practice it with effort to say everything is Krishna and and surrender to Krishna. And then it becomes an automatic process where I know it's just a part of my reality that everything is Krishna, where I don't need remembering. It's just that, and right, and it is Krishna who is leading me.
Yeah,
there's no me. It is Krishna who is leading. It's just that.
So that just that verse in Kathopanishad, just to get the feel of, I just googled it. So it says Atmanam Rathinam Vidhi. Yes, Atma is the Lord of the chariot. Yeah, so we should know that the self which is within is the Lord of the chariot. Shariram Rathamevatu. So Shariram is the body, is the Ratham itself. Buddhim to Sarathim. So Buddhi is the Sarathi. Mana Pragrahamevacha. So Manam is the reins. So this is what Lord Yama tells it to Nachiketa in Kathopanishad. Yes. We move ahead, I will share. Yes, Aarti, from Ashtanga Yoga.
Steady the mind with the help of pranayama. Repeat the mystic word, Om. When the mind is controlled by you, it should then be made steadfast. The intellect should be the charioteer which should hold the reins and steer the mind towards contemplation on the Lord. The mind should not be allowed to stray towards the objects of the senses, which is those reins should not be allowed to move in the direction in which the horses want to go. The horses should go in the direction that the reins are held together for, which is, so the mind should not be allowed to stray towards the object of the senses. The Ashtanga Yoga is the preliminary yoga for concentrating on the form of the Lord. This yoga is made of 8 qualities which should be part of you. Ahimsa, not hurting anyone or anything. Satyam, truthfulness. Asteyam, not stealing what belongs to another. Brahmacharya, withdrawal of the senses. Aparigraham, not receiving gifts from anyone. Shaucham, inner and outer cleanliness. Tapas, penance, and swadhyaya, study of the scriptures. Understanding all that you have learned. These 8 are the requisites for the next step. This is called dharana, which leads to dhyana. So this is what Sukhamuni is now telling Parikshit. He is describing the technique for meditation here. Well, I want to go over the Ashtanga Yoga.
Little bit, maybe 7:15.
Yeah.
Very little we can look at this. So this Ashtanga Yoga, as we see, so before that, very beautifully see, he has given how the mind has to be prepared. Mind preparation is essential, okay, for us to move to dhyana. Okay, only when the dhyana is there, whatever the state of mind reaches dhyana, then it turns inwards. Okay, until then, we saw, right, the mind always turns outwards. So this Ashtanga Yoga practice is to turn the mind, inwards. That is the entire idea. Here, she has taken up the few things from the Yama Niyama. So many times we all in modern, but I'm sure here in this group, people would be aware of what yoga is. But yoga is not just asana. In fact, Ashtanga Yoga comes from our Patanjali Muni, who has described what it is. So, overall for Ashtanga Yoga and Patanjali Yoga Sutra also, the sutras are very less. Okay. In spite of that, for asana, there is only one or two. Okay. For pranayama, only one. So, we know it is not just that. So the modern yoga has probably taken that thing where I do exercise with my body, or maybe a little bit of breath awareness. I do all the asanas using my body. That is yoga. No, yoga is a way of life itself. Yes, yoga actually, see here, if we carefully see these things that has been given, it works at the intellect level. Yes, that buddhi level. Ahimsa. What is ahimsa? We all know, right? Not hurting. Ahimsa, Satyam, Astheyam. So these fall under the one of the limbs of Ashtanga is 8 limbs, right? One of the limbs is Yama and Niyama. So under Yama Niyama, all these things come under Yama Niyama, which is to be practiced by all of us throughout our lives. It is not something we do only for an hour. It's not like the, so basically this is something that we practice every moment. Satyam, Astheya. I think we can go over this in detail next week.
Yeah, we should actually.
Right? Because there's a lot of thing here. We can bring in a lot of stories and brahmacharya, each of this, right?
Yeah. And I think we can be with that point that there are all of these, the yoga is for through our life, not just that 1 hour that we do in the morning. So, yes. So,
Abhyasa, he says, is Dhirga Kala. Okay, it is for a long time. Nairantarya, always. These are the 2 things that Patanjali gives. Abhyasa meaning, what is Abhyasa? He says, Dhirga Kala, Nairantarya. So this, I think, we need to keep in our mind. Okay, because in this age of fast food and instant results, we all want immediate. I've been practicing yoga, but I want this immediately. The results do not come like that. Dirgha Kala Nairantarya. So that is something we need to remember. Just one small thing I just remembered. For Dirgha Kala Nairantarya, the tapasya is the great Shabari, isn't it? If you see, Shabari was the Matanga Muni's, she was serving him with so much of Guru Bhakti, isn't it? So with so much of Guru. So when Matanga Muni was about to leave his body, Shabari told, please give me also Mukti. Let me also come with you. I cannot think of a life without a Guru. Matanga Muni says, no, your life is still not. You have to continue. You have to be here. Okay, your time will come when you meet a Raghuvanshi. Okay, he will come. You serve a Raghuvanshi and then you can come. This was the word of the Guru. Yeah, Matanga Muni says. So Shabari just takes, look at her pranipat, her devotion to the Guru. She just takes that word of the Guru and she waits every day for that Raghuvanshi to come so that she can serve him. The moment that serving is done, she can go, and she is actually given mukti by the Guru, not by Rama, according to Valmiki Ramayana. So Shabari, it is said that very beautifully somewhere I heard, I'm not remembering whose pravachana. He says to add that, Shabari would go out, would decorate her house, go out and ask the children playing, did you see any young lad with, glory, with, shining in his face, whatever, all that? Did you see any young lad coming here? Then they will say, no, this grandmother has no other work. No, we didn't see. So after another day, she goes and she asks a group of children playing, did you all see anyone? Then it seems that the children were talking, this party, this grandmother has no other work. She's been asking like this when my grandfather was playing. She has been asking like this when my father was playing. Now she's asking when I was playing. So across, it seems 10,000 years she waited. Okay. And with that eagerness every day. So Dirgha Kala Nairantarya Tapasya was the Shabari. And look at that she got, Rama comes in, she serves Rama, and that bhava itself, Rama was touched and moved by Shabari's bhava, isn't it? And then Shabari is later taken by Guru. So this Dirgha Kala Nairantarya, you remember Shabari.
Very nice, Para. So I was just thinking when I was listening, there's a simple song that I sing for the children to bring out how, whatever difficulty it is, I will stay on my path. Whatever I face, I will stay on my path. And then multiple examples of difference. A very simple song. You may all easily understand it. I'll just sing that song. It's a song from Chinmaya Mission, but for children, but it has a very beautiful meaning. Very simple. It might sound a little childish, but the meaning is very deep and profound. So just stay on the path. मुश्किलें आएगी आने दो, सागर में तूफान उठने दो, मुश्किलें आएगी आने दो, सागर में तूफान उठने दो, हमें रुकना नहीं, हमें झुकना नहीं, हमें रुकना नहीं, हमें झुकना नहीं, काम प्रभु का हमें करना है, मुश्किलें आएगी आने दो, सागर में तूफान उठने दो, पहाड़ पर्वत दुर्गम हो. I'm hoping you can all understand the meaning of the song. It's in Hindi.
She can do the actions if they want.
Yeah, they will understand. Anybody who does not understand Hindi, please put it and then I'll try to explain it. I'll anyway probably tell a little bit. Pahad parvat durgam ho. If the very difficult mountains on the way. Pat par kankar kaante ho. When you're walking, there are thorns that are there. पहाड़ पर्वत दुर्गम हो, पत पर कंकर कांटे हो, हमें हटना नहीं, हमें मिटना नहीं, हमें हटना नहीं, हमें मिटना नहीं, वेदों के शिखर पर चढ़ना है. So I will not move, I will stay on my path and I will reach the shikhar, is the peak of where the Vedas want to take me through the Bhagavatam here, of course. अंधेरा छाया है छाने दो, काली घटा घर आने दो. It feels like there's darkness all around when I'm feeling sorrowful or something like that. अंधेरा छाया है छाने दो, काली घटा घर आने दो, हमें रोना नहीं, हमें सोना नहीं. Parikshit was going through exactly, it seemed, it to somebody, his situation may have seemed like that andhera chaya, okay, but he didn't cry. हमें रोना नहीं, हमें सोना नहीं, हमें रोना नहीं, हमें सोना नहीं, गीता का ज्ञान हमें, भागवतम का ज्ञान हमें देना है, मुश्किलें आएगी आने दो, सागर में तूफान उठने दो, मुश्किलें आएगी आने दो, सागर में तूफान उठने दो। मीरा का विष पान ज्ञात है, विष पचाना बड़ी बात है। मीरा was given wish so many times, she went through so many struggles. मीरा का विष पान ज्ञात है, विष पचाना बड़ी बात है। मीरा रोई नहीं, श्याम भूली नहीं, मीरा रोई नहीं, श्याम भूली नहीं। Not for a moment did she forget श्याम। श्याम ढूंढते श्याम खुद होना है। That is nididhyasana, where you know it's all only Krishna that is doing. श्याम ढूंढते श्याम खुद होना है। There is no me, there is no me at all. It's everything that is happening is only because of him. श्याम ढूंढते श्याम खुद होना है, मुश्किलें आएगी आने दो, सागर में तूफान उठने दो। मुश्किलें आएगी आने दो, सागर में तूफान उठने दो। हमें रुकना नहीं, हमें झुकना नहीं, हमें रुकना नहीं, हमें झुकना नहीं। काम प्रभु का हमें करना है, मुश्किलें आएगी आने दो, सागर में तूफान उठने दो। मुश्किलें आएगी आने दो, सागर में तूफान उठने दो। वो असतो मा सद्गमय, तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय, मृत्योर्मा अमृतं गमय। ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते, पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः, सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः, सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु, मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। हरिः ओम्। श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ओम्।
Hari Om. Thank you. Lovely. Thank you.
Hari Om. Very nice. Very beautiful. Thank you, both of you. Thank you.
Hari Om. Thank you.
Hari Om.
Hari Om. Thank you so much.